let's look a little bit closer at Graphite. So first of all, you can change the size of the GUI, which right now it's too small for my liking. You can change this up to 2 times its normal size. For this tutorial, I like to make it full screen. So let's go to the size over here, choose 2x, and then you actually have to reload your DAW or just delete the plugin and then add it back, but I'm gonna keep it and close the DAW. Okay, now that that's all situated, let's load up the plugin, and yeah, it's full screen. Good times. You actually have to extend it a little bit if you're on Reaper. I'm on a 1080p display, and as long as I cut out this part of the plugin, it'll fit. There we go. That way I don't have to zoom in with my screen recorder software. So from left to right, we have the gain knob, which controls our input signal. I'll lower it so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Now the thing is, I don't believe that this has distortion. Let me lower the master output, which is on the far top right of the GUI. For those that don't know, GUI stands for Graphical User Interface. Doesn't sound very distorty to me. So I'll just set this back to a decent level. Okay, let me change my setting on my audio interface. So, first of all, we have the deep button, which basically adds to the low end in case the low knob doesn't do it for you. And then thankfully we have 2 mids, a low and a high, and you can select which frequencies you're boosting or cutting. On the low mid, we have frequency A, B, and C. A is 185 Hertz. B, the center position, is 375 Hertz. And C is 800 Hertz. I think that those frequencies are perfect for bass guitar. This is the range you normally want to cut for the lower ones. And the 800 Hertz range, sometimes you may want to boost that. Other times you want to cut it, depending on what the guitar sounded like. But the bottom line is these were 3 excellent frequencies to select from. On the high mids, frequency A is 600 Hertz, so that overlaps with the low mid, which is pretty cool. Frequency B is 1.2 kilohertz. And then finally, frequency C is 1.8 kilohertz. Usually this is the range I like to boost so that that part cuts through the mix on smaller speakers. I almost forgot, there's actually this switch called Pure, which disables all of the equalizer filters, and it's hidden right by the mid-low. To be honest with you, I'm not like a huge fan of it because usually the bass guitar DI just doesn't sound great. But it's there if you want it. And again, great EQ selections. Finally, the high shelf, boost the brightness. Well, let me do this. So let me listen to the track and then I'm going to make some decisions. And then finally we have some controls. Let me adjust the high shelf and let's hear it with bright on and off. Okay, moving on. Now maybe I should have adjusted this before I messed with the EQs, but down here we have microphones. Oh, hold on, before I do that, on the top right side, I already mentioned this, but the master output, which right now it's set to all the way to the left, all the way counterclockwise. So the meters are up here, input level and output level. Let's match the input level to the output level. Okay, I'm happy with this, so what I'm going to do is save this to preset 1, or I should say user bank number 1, by clicking this. It's highlighted in yellow right now, but it's like a arrow pointing down with a smiley face. It's not really a smiley face, but the other thing, and I messed up before, so you can actually pick the numbers. So if I go to number 2, my settings will set back to the original, reset to nothing. Well, it looks like some of these actually already have settings, but yeah, so back to 1. And if I want to copy that, you just hit again the save button next to 2. And now if I go to 2, maybe I'm on 2, I'll flip back and forth between these two. So now it's all the same settings. So you can quickly switch between different settings like this. I forgot to mention, if you want to blend the direct input with the bass cabinet / amp, this knob over here lets you do that. All the way counterclockwise, I believe, is no direct input, and all the way clockwise is nothing but the DI. Okay, now down here, we can choose our different microphones. We can either turn them on or off with the power switch, like that. Or we can select which ones we want. Now, these are pretty much self-explanatory, but the American Dynamic 57 is a Shure SM57. Next one is the American Ribbon 10 is the Royer Labs R10. The German Condenser 47 is the Neumann U47 FET. And then finally, the German Dynamic 421 is a Sennheiser MD 421. Not sure which one, probably a Mark II, but it's possible it's one of the classic ones. Either way, for right now, I just have it on one microphone, but let's switch between these while the music plays. So it takes a few seconds for the samples to load in. It's not instantaneous like an algorithmic plugin. So from my experience with this plugin so far, for clean bass sounds, I prefer the German Condenser 47 or the American Ribbon 10. Now maybe for distorted sounds where I put a Stompbox pedal plugin prior to this, or if I had a real one, I would use that. Maybe I would prefer the dynamic microphones, but between the two, I do prefer the 47 the best, usually on most sources. But anyway, we also have this setting over here, tweeter on, which adds a little bit more natural brightness to the signal. I usually like to have it off, but it's there if you want it. And then last but not least, we have the artificial intelligence presets. Now, what does that mean? It means that as you are playing the audio, and either that's pre-recorded audio or live audio, you have to have some kind of signal going when you choose these presets, because they are going to base the settings off of the material being fed to the plugin. And I'm not going to hit these right now because it'll mess with my well, let me go to number 2. How about that? And then presets, change this to finger to aggressive. Oh wait, I forgot to play audio while I was doing this. Hold on. Let's change this. So I forgot to mention what Graphite is based off of, and that is the GRBass ONE amp. As you can see, the GUI matches it pretty closely. The main difference is there's no tuner on the plugin, and there's also no aux in, but for the most part it's the same as the air conditioner goes. And it's also based off of the AT212 carbon fiber speaker cabinet. So this is an officially licensed product from GRBass, or endorsed. It's a great clean bass amp sound. If you're looking for something with distortion, this is not it. But if you're looking for a nice clean bass amp sound, then this one sounds really good to my ears, and I'll definitely be using it on mixes in the coming years. Again, I'm a part of the Acustica Audio Street team. They sent me a not for resale license to try this one out, but my opinions are my own, and I always say to people, Acustica Audio has one of the best demo periods out there, so go ahead and download the Aquarius downloader and check this one out for yourself on your own bass guitar DI material. Thank you all for watching.